The phone cameras clicked non-stop as the audience snapped pictures of Excelia. The guards put up their hands signaling the fans to stop, but they had no way of keeping them all under control. Excelia! 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 The fans shouted over one another to try and get their idol's attention. Excelia, may I get a photo with you? Could you sign some autographs for my kids and 2 for me, of course? I can't believe I'm standing this close to Excelia! For some reason, this all sounded kind of familiar. The afternoon sun combined with Excelia's sparkle forced some of the fans to put on their sunglasses. Seeing a recurring theme with the whole sunglasses thing. As Excelia strutted by, the staff extended their hands to her. Excelia's guards shook their hands in her place, and the staff frowned like they'd just lost the lottery by a number. One of the guards accidentally stomped onto my parchment as he marched by. Way to leave a footprint right in the middle of my work. The whole page now reeked of dirt and grass, so thanks. Several other calligraphers gasped as the guards trampled on their works as well. At least I had some company. Now all of our works look like doodles from preschoolers. A third guard ran up to Excelia from behind, holding a roll of parchment nearly twice his height. This guard dashed on ahead and rolled his parchment across the space those staff had reserved. The 3 guards formed a triangle around the parchment and stretched their arms out. The staff had already set up barricades, but apparently the guards preferred to serve as human shields. As Excelia walked up to the parchment, an event staff offered her a brush. Excelia shook her head to indicate there was no need. The audience began to whisper in anticipation, and I too held my breath as I prepared to witness Excelia's famous routine. Excelia reached inside her sleeve and pulled out a gold brush. There it was, just like the way she always did it on TV. The crowd let out a woo, with a few muttering envy under their breaths. From her other sleeve, Excelia fished out an ink container studded with diamonds. With gear like that, I almost wondered if she had some kind of allergy to plain black. Excelia's hair billowed in the afternoon breeze. The crowd fell quiet as she put down her container, opened the lid, and dipped her brush into the ink. On YouTube, I'd seen recordings of Excelia at work, but because they were filmed in secret, the footage always came out blurry. Which pixel is Excelia? As comments always read. Today, I could at least study Excelia's techniques firsthand. No way I'd even allow myself to blink. Excelia stamped her feet together and closed her eyes. I could almost hear the audience swallowing in anticipation. Even the nearby road drivers poked their heads out the windows to see what was going on. Excelia lifted her shoe off. That's quite the shoe. That's super platformy. That's a heck of a platform shoe. Wow. Excelia lifted her shoe off the ground as if trying to squash a bug. As she stomped onto the pavement, she swung her brush and delivered the first stroke. Never before had I seen such a smooth wrist motion. The stroke came out in a perfect curve, plus that ink thickened and thinned at just the right points. Not a single drop of stray ink on the page. One of the staff covered her mouth as tears streamed down her cheeks. My works had made people laugh when they saw the scripts, but never before had they moved anyone to tears. All this time I tried to convince myself that Excelia only reached her status through hype. Now I witnessed firsthand that she possessed skills I lacked even in my dreams. If Excelia were a 60-year-old veteran, I could have accepted it. She was, however, only a year older than I. No way I could reach her level in 12 months, not even if I quit my job and trained full-time. This must be what they call talent. I had the heart to climb, but without any gift I might as well be scaling a tower with a stepladder. I wish we could all have been born equal. Excelia continued to swing her brush in rhythm as if performing a dance. That crying staff from earlier had passed out completely. With strokes this precise, I suspected Excelia might actually be a robot, but her lines also possessed a human quality that machines could never replicate. Another staff with tears in her eyes picked up a mic from the table and spoke with a cracking voice. And now it brings me great pleasure to present this highlight video of Miss Excelia. The staff pointed towards a widescreen standing on top of a stage. We turned our attention to the display and waited for the film to roll. At such a young age, Excelia had already achieved enough to warrant a highlight video. No wonder so many people envied her. What about my video? Getting trolled on the streets, being late to work, becoming a YouTube sensation? The last one sounded nice on the surface, at least. The screen switched on, showing the top of Excelia's head. The footage was shaking so much I wondered if the cameraman was a toddler. I could barely pick out anything in the video. The film stabilized after a few seconds and I saw some calligraphies painted along a brick wall behind Excelia. Hey, that's the one from the street from earlier. This looked like Hosier Lane, one of the first places I visited yesterday. In this video, however, those calligraphies on the wall had yet to be smeared. Excelia panted as she turned left and right, looking like she'd just escaped from a stalker. The camera showed no one else in the scene, though. Excelia's lips twisted into a grin that was seeping with venom. Her mouth opened and revealed a fanged tooth in the corner of her lips. That explained why she never showed her teeth on TV. Viewers gasped as Excelia picked up a brush and smudged white ink all over the wall calligraphies. She painted with none of the grace she'd shown in her live performance. In the footage, she looked like me when I was scrubbing the restaurant toilets during work. So Excelia was the one who wiped those calligraphies away. But why? Surely she could have left that dirty work to one of the staff here. Speaking of staff, this footage left them all looking confused. Maybe they put in the wrong tape, but this sure looked nothing like a highlight video. Female calligrapher marched up to the staff holding the mic. With a grunt, she yanked the mic out of the staff's hands. "I'm the one who recorded this footage in secret and swapped out the disc," the calligrapher said. "Watch closely, everyone. Excelia's about to show her true colours." The video cut to Excelia in her limousine. That hotel in the backdrop looked like a mansion seen in movies. The guard opened the limousine door and offered her hand. Excelia flicked her hair as she climbed out, ignoring the hand like it was a worm. Madame, how many accounts should we create?" the guard asked. At least 3 each. Make sure you each write 3... Excelia said, I've lost her voice all of a sudden. "Make sure you write each post in a different tone." "Well, this calligrapher begs Excelia for plug, shameless much," the guard said. "How was that?" Oh, just the guard. I was just using that's my generic internet comment voice quote, which seems to come up a surprising amount, by the way. That's just all the stuff I've been done lately. It seems to involve a lot of internet comments. I don't know. I get to use my generic internet comment voice. "Wow, this calligrapher begged Excelia for a plug. Shameless much," the guard said. "How was that?" Excelia yawned as she strode into her hotel. "It'll do." I recalled reading that exact comment on my Reddit thread. The guards wrote all of the replies. Not only that, but they did so based on Excelia's orders. Did she want to banish me from the calligraphy world that badly? The film cut to a shot of Fed Square, where Excelia walked into the scene with a guard by her either side, and the third one carrying a roll of parchment. Hey, this only happened moments ago. Stalker must be a pro being able to edit the film and replace the highlight tape in such a short time. Yeah, that's like crazy good, actually. What are you using to render your video out, you know, in the field quite so quickly? That's pretty good. Excelia put on a smirk and once again flashed her fang tooth. It only lasted for a moment, which must be why I missed it in person earlier. Excelia jerked her chin and the guard swerved into the parchments laid out by his calligraphers. I looked away from the screen to stare at that footprint smudged across my page. Without the video, I would have written this off as an accident. Now I knew what Excelia was really about. Film cut out and calligraphers on scene erupted into boos. One of them crushed his parchment into a ball and threw it at Excelia. Many other calligraphers followed suit as they too rolled their pages into projectiles. Many people clicked away with their cameras. Some used their phones, others brought professional cameras with them. There must be a good few journalists hiding within the crowd. Excelia's guards closed in around her, forming human shield as paper balls rained upon their heads. As Excelia opened her mouth to whimper, I saw she did indeed have a fang tooth, but she had bigger problems to cower over right now. With her usual sparkle gone, Excelia looked so frail inside this angry mob. Some of these calligraphers were middle-aged men, yet they showed no shame in hurling papers at a lady. I glanced down at my parchment, pondering if I too should let Excelia know how I felt. You know, that planting thorns in my path, no wonder I bled with every step I took. Enough was enough, I decided I must let my feelings be known. After picking up my ink container and brush, I stalked up to Excelia. A few stray paper balls hit me behind the head, but I paid them no heed. I threw my ink container onto Excelia's parchment, staining her work in a pool of black. The crowd ceased their paper assault and watched as I scribbled my brush all over Excelia's page until her work had been smeared beyond recognition. Satisfied with the damage, I tossed my brush onto the parchment. I've always wanted to do that. With all eyes now glued on me, I could feel my cheeks reddening. Of all the times I could have picked to snap, I had to choose the biggest calligraphy event this year. There's right to know the dubstep remix might be imminent. Hey! A female voice turned out. I turned around and I saw a lady waving my piece of work in the air. It was one of those girls I met at the sky deck yesterday. The girl tore my page into halves, then quarters. 3 hours of work ripped to shreds. The corner of my eyes twitched in a smile. That paper already had footprints all over it. If this girl wanted to upset me, she'd have to try a little harder. Another calligrapher yanked away someone else's parchment before folding it into a plane. He threw the plane skyward and it came spiraling down, summing up this whole event rather nicely. Once that plane crashed into the pavement, it was on. The calligraphers destroyed one another's works in whatever way they saw fit. Some even folded them into origami. One guy tore the paper in his hand into edible sizes and, well, started eating them. He might as well check himself into hospital now. Another man tried feeding his paper scraps to a pigeon. Fortunately, the bird flew off, as if to say, ain't nobody got time for that. The staff traded baffled looks, perhaps unsure whether to intervene or join in. Sorry, but only those in the trenches had the right to participate. By the time we stopped acting like pals and admitted we were adversaries. Ink marks covered Excelia's cheeks from the earlier assaults. As the guards brushed away the stains with towels, she stood stiff with a confused expression that satisfied me greatly. With no pages left to destroy, the madness came to an end at last. The maniac laughter settled into awkward giggles, followed by silence. I bet all the calligraphers here have regretted their outburst at some level. One calligrapher picked up her bag and crossed the road to leave Fed Square. With that, everyone else started to follow. The autograph and Q&A sessions must be cancelled then. Even the staff started to pack away their equipment. Soon the entire crowd had dispersed. Torn scraps of paper littered the plaza, serving as the only evidence of this event ever taking place. The cleaner would probably drop by later and stick all our names onto voodoo dolls. I kind of started the whole thing, so let me be the one to apologise. Birds chirped as they continued to search for food scraps around Fed Square. Meanwhile, I gazed up to see the sun had already begun its descent. A large bell chimed to my right, and I assumed it came from that church on the street opposite. My return flight took off at 7 AM tomorrow, so I'd best get an early sleep. I put on my backpack and shuffled up to the crossing. As I waited for the light to turn green, I peered over my shoulder at Excelia. She sat on the stairs of Fed Square with her hands wrapped around herself. With her head hanging low, she looked like a child who just lost her mother. Now that Excelia no longer had a sparkle, the pedestrian strolled by without even noticing her. This must be how I looked when I tried to sell my calligraphies on the street. All the time I'd wanted to swap places with Excelia, even if it must come at her expense. Now that she'd collapsed face first off her pedestal, why did I find myself frowning? Just as the light turned green, I spun around and returned to Excelia's side. As I took a seat on the stairs beside her, she waved her guards off. "You guys head back to the hotel first."
"But Miss Excelia,
I said leave! The guards traded uncertain looks before retreating into their limousine as ordered. As the car drove off, I wondered if the guards cared for Excelia or were simply worried about keeping their jobs. "Just one mistake and it's all over," Excelia said. She smiled, but the way her lips quivered told me she was fighting back tears. You thought I tried to ruin your career, Vinti. Go on, make fun of me." I stayed silent for a while as if trying to think of a witty insult. After some thought, the right words came to me. "Let me shout you to that meal I'd promised," I said. Excelia blinked at me, looking confused as if we no longer spoke the same language. I got up, patted dirt off my bottom, and offered Excelia a hand. When she gave no response, I pulled her up by force and dragged her into a tram. The carriages looked even more packed than they did this morning. All these people in suits must be on their way home after a long day of work. I tapped on with the Mikey card, and at least Excelia still had enough awareness to do the same. After putting the card back into my wallet, I pulled Excelia deeper into the carriage. Excelia tucked herself into a corner with her shoulders hunched, looking like a puppy strapped to a roller coaster. For the whole ride, neither of us said a word. I twiddled my thumbs as I questioned if I'd been too forceful. Once we crossed the bridge, the time had come for us to alight. This time Excelia tapped off and followed me out of the tram on her own. I keep trying to say train. For some reason, my brain just goes train. Trams are just not that common for me. I'm not used to trams. I'm more used to trains. I keep saying it. God damn it. We crossed the road and walked into the restaurant where I had dinner last night. Oh, it's the booming lady. I didn't think we were going to see her again. That's why I did her silly voice. Okay. As soon as I entered, the cashier lady grinned like she'd reunited with an old friend. It's invariably the characters that I give the stupidest voices to that I end up coming back and I have to do them again and again. She grinned like she'd reunited with an old friend. "Vinti!" Excelia turned to me with her eyes slightly widened. Once I felt like I was the celebrity instead of her. I had flies rather than sparkles buzzing around me, but oh well. With my head held high, I led Excelia up to a nearby table. The cushion on one of the chairs looked torn, so I took that seat and saved the better one for Excelia, but they were probably all trash in her eyes. Once we both sat, the lady came over and started sniffing my hair again, before handing us a menu each. "Hey, Vinti, this a friend of yours?" I nodded. "This is Excelia." The lady put her hand over her lips. "Shit, the famous calligrapher? I've seen her in commercials and stuff. Damn!" Excelia lifted her eyebrows, no doubt surprised that a waitress would drop an S-bomb on her customers, and was quite as loud and booming as that. That would not happen in a five-star restaurant, like the ones that Excelia would frequent. Excelia grimaced as she read through the menu. Now she knew how I felt when I was looking at that menu on the plane. She'd probably never seen these common folk dishes in her life. The beef noodles here's pretty good, I said. I'll go with that then, Excelia said, handing her menu back to the lady. I ordered a plate of fried rice before returning my menu as well.
Won't be long, Hans,
the lady said, and jogged back behind the counter. Keeping to her word, she came out and delivered our dishes in under 5 minutes. What a massive bill, Excelia muttered, staring at the beef noodles on her table. It must be really expensive. $10 if I recall correctly, I said. Excelia gasped. What a bargain! More like those fancy restaurants for rip-offs, I thought, but I kept the opinion to myself. As I ate my fried rice, I stole a few glances at Excelia. I feared she might hate the lowly dish, but if so, she sure ate it up fast. When Excelia finished, she let out a burp that I would never have associated with a star. For a second, she slouched back on her wooden chair, but she straightened again right away with her flushed cheeks. Tonight, I called Excelia trying to act like one of us, not the other way round. That made me smile and realize how silly I must have looked when I tried to copy her every move. As I finished my rice, Excelia took out her platinum card. I shook my head and pulled a couple of notes from my wallet. Even if Excelia insisted on paying, this place might not actually have a card reader. I wondered how long it had been since she last paid for anything with cash. Excelia followed me up to the counter while I paid for our meals. As she whispered thank you, I felt like I was the big sister for a change. Yeah, I know Excelia was a head taller, but just play along. I'm flying home tomorrow morning, I told the lady as I paid her. Hopefully I'll have a chance to visit again. The lady wrapped both of her hands around mine.
You're always welcome here. Maybe we can have a cuppa together sometime.
I had no idea what a cuppa was, but I still smiled and nodded. You must be familiar with tea, surely? Tea. The universal language of tea. It is consumed worldwide and universally appreciated. Maybe you don't refer to it as a copper, though. At any rate, with her hands on top of mine, I noticed the lady had a couple of chipped nails that might have broke during work. Still, I found her more attractive than any of those fashion models wannabes I met on the skydeck. This lady pretty much took her heart out and left it on the table for me to hug. Perhaps she only acted this way in the name of business, but I wanted to believe it was genuine. If I ever visited Melbourne again, I vowed to drop by for another meal. Can I know your name?
It's Ghost Pirate LeChuck, the lady said. No, it's Grace. It's Grace, the lady said, sending us off with a grin. See you around, Vinty, and you as well, Excelia.
The wind chimes jingled as I pushed the door open and stepped out. Excelia trailed me up the closest tram stop across the road. Leaves rustled in the trees above as she sat onto a set of stairs nearby. Cars drove by and honked in the distance, but not one of them passed the road before us. I rolled a pebble around under my shoe, unsure of what to say. When the honks of an oncoming tram sounded in the distance, I pulled out the Mikey card from my wallet. Too bad I must leave tomorrow, because I'm quite comfortable with the routine here. Excelia, meanwhile, remained rooted on the flight of stairs. The oncoming tram slowed to a stop, even though I never gave it any signal. When the driver met my gaze, I shook my head and made a little bow in apology. The driver drove on with a shrug, leaving Excelia and I behind. It's over, Excelia said, squeezing her robe like it was a stress ball. A decade of work erased by just one error. I'm a disgrace to my family. Your family? Are you doing this for them or yourself? I asked, putting my hands over my hips. Excelia opened her mouth, but afforded no response. After huffing out a long breath, I continued, I've seen the way you smile when you work. There's no way you'd make a face like that if you hated calligraphy. Excelia's shoulders convulsed, looking like she wanted to cry. Maybe I'd gone too far with my words. It no longer matters whether I like calligraphy or not, Excelia said. After what has happened today, I'll be driven out of the industry. I bet they're flaming me everywhere as we speak. For a second, I wanted to tell her it was karma, but I managed to swallow the words. Even if it hurt like plucking splinters, I wanted to rid my heart of these grudges. I pulled out my phone and hopped onto a daily news site. As I'd expected, the Chaos Day made it onto the front page. Excelia exposed, the headline read. Read. But the article only had 2 likes and over 100 thumbs down. I scrolled down to the comment section and read exactly what I anticipated. With a smile, I flipped the phone around for Excelia to see. Latest comment.
Best show ever, I got quite a lot out of it. Calligraphers, they were all so sweet, really proud to be in this circle. Another clickbait headline, voted down. Good luck to Excelia and everyone else who showed up today. Hashtag haters gonna hate.
Excelia squeezed her eyes shut as tears rolled down her cheeks. I leaned in to coil my arms around her while she wept. I don't want to quit calligraphy. Excelia managed to speak through her tears. There were in fact plenty of hateful comments on that page, but the majority of us understood. I stroked Excelia's hair while her sobs were settled into whimpers. Good thing the streets looked deserted, or this would be all over the news. When Excelia's name came up, people thought of the face that graced banners all over. Men liked to swap her head with those of nude models. I'd almost forgotten she was a person above all else. If I could snatch away Excelia's status and claim it for my own, I might sell my soul for the chance. Excelia shared my passion for calligraphy, yet I was willing to rob her right to pursue what she loved. I let go of Excelia as she brushed away the last of her tears. The way her lower lip stuck out told me she must have forced herself to calm down for my sake. I stroked her hand across Excelia's arm in farewell. It's been a fun 2 days. I'm glad I came. With that, I turned to check the tram timetable printed on the lamppost, but Excelia grabbed my hand from behind. I'll drive you home. There's no need, my hotel's nearby anyway, I said. Excelia ignored me and still made a phone call. In under 5 minutes, her limousine pulled up in front of us. The driver exited his car to open the front passenger door for Excelia. Excelia climbed in. She lowered her head at the 3 guards sitting inside. That must be her apology for the outburst from earlier. Really, my hotel's close, I said, waving my hands to decline this offer. Really, just get in. Excelia seized my wrist and pulled me into the car as if she was kidnapping me. After going back into his limousine, the driver glanced over his shoulder and asked if I knew the way. I gave him a nod. I'd just go straight ahead. The driver did as told and pressed his shoe against the pedal. After our car passed the first set of lights, I said, and we're here. I guess it really is pretty close, Excelia said, chuckling awkwardly as the limousine parked outside my hotel. Excelia clapped her hands, and all the lights turned on in the hotel, and her driver darted out to open the door for me. I muttered thanks as I climbed out, feeling spoiled like those rich brats I'd always envied. The driver pushed the door closed before returning onto his seat. I hoped the hotel staff might peek out and mistake me for a celebrity, but the only thing greeting me was the evening wind. Excelia lowered her windshield and her hair flowed under the breeze as she beamed. I'll always remember what you did for me today. Sure, that's cool. Way to leave an lasting impression, Vincy. I should have thought of what to say as farewell beforehand. Excelia pulled up her windshield, and the tinted glass now blocked out her face. I stood and watched as the limousine performed a U-turn and drove off towards the city. As I walked back into my hotel, I wondered if this might be my last face-to-face meeting with Excelia. Day 2, Chief. The morning had come for me to say goodbye to Melbourne. I yawned as I squeezed the hotel toothpaste onto my toothbrush for the last time. Without my phone alarm, no way I could have gotten up at 4 in the morning, which sucked to miss my flight, so I decided to get up nice and early. After brushing my teeth and washing my face, I changed out of my pyjamas, I crammed my clothes into the bag, and with that I was officially done with packing. It might only have been 2 nights, but this hotel still took care of me. I whispered a thank you as if the room had feelings. Unless I received another grant, I might never have another chance to visit this place. To ensure I left without regret, I should at least take a picture. I pulled the glass door open, stepped onto the veranda, and took out my phone. After flipping the camera, I pointed the screen in my face to take a selfie with these trees behind me as the backdrop. Right as I pressed the snap button, with a moth with wings as big as my face fluttered into view, I dove back into the room and slid the glass door closed, but the moth had already flown inside. After circling for a while, the moth landed on the wall for a breather. I better get out of here before it decided to fly around again and make my head its new nest. Oh, Australia. Giant human-eating moths. It's pretty standard, as is my understanding of Australia. As I slipped out of my shoes and trotted out of the room, I mumbled an apology for whoever had to chase that moth out. While riding the elevator, I unlocked my phone to check how that photo came out. The image looked all blurry because I moved, but for a struggling calligrapher it would have to suffice. After returning onto the ground floor, I walked up to male staff standing behind the lobby counter. As I returned my hotel card to him, he asked if I enjoyed any of the beverages in the fridge. Yeah, like I'd have money for those. No, but thanks for having me. The man smiled.
We hope to see you again.
With a nod, I walked out of the hotel for the last time. Rather than catching a tram back into the city, I decided to ride a train instead. My last experience before leaving Melbourne, if you would. And not to worry, I checked the map on my phone last night. The walk to Glen Ferry Station should only be 10 minutes long. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. 30 minutes. Alright, troll away. When it came to judging map distances, I still had much to learn. Good thing I came out earlier, I might be in danger of missing my flight. Sure was cold in the morning though. I rubbed my arms in an attempt to warm up. As I strolled, my shoes crushed some of the leaves that littered the pavement. The crunches sound so extra loud in this empty neighbourhood, making me sweat a little. When I walked by one of the houses, a dog barked from behind the fence and made me jump. The dog swiped its paws at the bars, looking like it wanted to leap over. I sped away so fast I might have become eligible for the next Olympics. As the sun rose over the rooftops, the sky faded from black to orange. The sunlight warmed me up as I finally made my way to Glen Ferry Station. A row of ticket barriers now stood before me. They each came up with a scanner that looked similar to the ones installed on the trams. It's interesting though, at the start of this she was like, I literally only brought enough money to do the very specific things that I planned to do. And now it's just like, I'll just buy a ticket for this, and I'll pay for people's meals, and I'll just travel here, and I'll travel here, and I'll travel here, buying tickets for all these things, when it was like, yeah, she was like, I have enough money for all the essential meals, and I will walk everywhere because it's not far. That's kind of gone out the window. Oh well. Rent's not due for a few weeks, right? A row of ticket barriers now stood before me. They each came with a scanner that looked similar to the ones installed on trams. I pressed the Mikey card over one of the scanners. After a beep, the barriers separated and I managed to step through. I descended a flight of stairs and arrived on the station platform. People waiting here looked half asleep, either yawning or nodding off on their feet. It was way early in the morning, after all. The grinding of train wheels diverted my gaze towards the tracks. From the distance came a train with a flat face painted in yellow and blue. The box-shaped carriages looked rather cute, actually. As the train slowed to a stop, I snapped a photo to remember this moment. The picture turned out blurry because the carriages were still in motion, but I saved the image anyway. As I waited for the train doors to open, the excitement made me smile. To a newbie traveller, even catching the train felt as thrilling as a unicorn ride. The train had been sitting for a good 10 seconds, yet the doors remained closed. Were these doors in front of me faulty? Unless I found a way in soon, the train might take off and leave me behind. A businessman walked up to the carriage next to mine. He tapped a circular button under the window and the doors slid open for him to enter. Oh, now I understood how this worked. Hey, I'd never seen manually operated doors on trains before, so be nice. The doors in front of me also had a glowing button sitting under the window. I gave it a press and the doors opened up. As I boarded the train, I wondered if I should thank the guy next door for giving me a demo. Oh well, too late. The carriage doors closed and my train arrived, headed for Hawthorne, the next station on the City line. My carriage had plenty of vacant seats, so I took one by the window to enjoy the view. As the trees and houses blurred past, a wave of sadness washed over me. I only spent 2 days here in Melbourne, but it still hurt to say goodbye. If I reached Excelia status, I could return here anytime I wanted. Perhaps on a jet if the mood struck me. Not just Melbourne, but so many other places waiting for me to explore. That should be my goal. 30 minutes later, the train arrived at Southern Cross Station, the place where my journey started. I rose from my seat as the train slowed to a stop. Once again, I needed to press a button in order for the doors to open. After alighting from my train, I left the station platform and made my way up to the ticket barriers. I tapped off using the Mikey card for what could be the last time. As I stepped past the open gates, I put the card back into my wallet with a smile. In memory of my trip, I might keep this card in the wallet forever. I actually have some of the ones, I'm pretty sure I have one from the Boston T system actually lying around somewhere. For similar reasons, but yay. Yeah, cool. I headed down into the dimly lit bus terminal, this time right after I bought a ticket from the booth. A bus drove into the parking area. At least I had better luck on my trip back. A dozen people with luggages waited in the queue. I took my time walking up to the line, knowing there would be plenty of seats to go around. The bus doors opened and we climbed aboard one by one. Window seat for me, as always. Once everyone settled in, the bus steered its way out of the terminal. As we drove along the highway, the yellow and white streetlights blinked out, taking a well-deserved rest now that the sun was up and about. I took out my phone and snapped some more photos of those yellow taxis that passed by the window. Really wished I could catch a bus back to the city and start the journey over. The bus reached Tullamarine Airport before I could sort out my feelings. Since I only had a backpack on, I could have gotten off right away, but I still waited for everyone else to alight first. With only the driver left on board, I shuffled out of the bus last. No matter how much I stalled, the time for me to fly home was drawing near. Before me stood a line of taxis waiting to pick up passengers from the airport. For all of these people, the journey had just begun, and for that I envied them. Once I entered the airport, there would be no looking back. I vowed to visit this place next time as an established calligrapher. Thank you for everything, Melbourne, and for now, goodbye. As soon as I reached the airport, a familiar face greeted me. This time around, I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I'll catch up to you someday, Excelia, just you watch. Excelia smirked as if to say, bring it on. We despised each other for our shared calligraphy passion, yet I also admired her for that same reason. There's one last thing I've forgotten, Excelia said. She took out her phone and beckoned me over. As soon as I walked up to her, she put her hand onto my shoulder and twirled me around. Can I take a photo with you? Excelia asked. Just 2 days ago I'd asked her the same question, but her guards rejected my request. This time no one would get in our way. Sure, I'm down. As Excelia aimed her phone to include us both in the shot, she pressed her shoulder against mine. The warmth of her touch made me smile without having to say cheese. Excelia emailed me the photo just before I boarded the plane, and with that I said goodbye to Melbourne, as well as my idol. Are you guys not like getting on the same plane? You got the same plane out there, and you've both arrived at the airport at the same time. It seems reasonable that you'd probably both be on the same plane back then? No? I glued my eyes to the window during takeoff, but with all kinds of thoughts filling my mind, I barely noticed the cityscape passing underneath. Excelia seemed so perfect whenever her face appeared on ads and television, but she turned out to be so human after all. For one, I now knew about the fang tooth that she always tried to hide. She also made plenty of mistakes, but they all came from her love for the craft. I no longer felt the need to copy Excelia's every move. Instead, I swore to forge my own path. I'd wasted enough time worrying about what others thought. With this afternoon sky as a backdrop, I snapped a selfie to celebrate the moment of enlightenment. Perfect, now to share this on Twitter so that my followers too might be able to see the light. I'm wondering if that Twitter account's actually a real one, at RealVinty. Note to self, go check that out once I've finished this, because I want to know if that's actually a real thing. Somehow I've become an internet sensation again. His comments,
why your eyes be closed? Yo, is that the dubstep remix girl? I think it is, lol. She'd be like, why you know RT, haha.
Emoji face. Whatever that is supposed to represent.
3-shaped cloud in the background, Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Wait, where? Where? I don't see it, I'm not seeing it. There's no... You troll me! There's no 3-shaped cloud.
Nice selfie, hey guys, please support my Patreon, thanks.
And this will be the last time I ever posted a selfie online. I think that's the end of the game. I think this is probably some of the actual videos that were probably in all those video clips. And yeah, that's all stuff that we saw drawings of in the background. We saw some of the buildings, we saw some of the things, we saw many of the things. That was the thing we went to? That's kind of cool. I like this. I'm down with this. This is, yeah, it would have been nice if all the videos had kind of been implemented in-game. I thought it was just kind of a, I guess like a technical limitation of a... I don't really want to say amateur production, but let's say indie production. As in, it's just easier just to link to a web page than it is to actually encode any kind of video showing thing, but clearly they do know how to put video into their game. I don't know, maybe we just made the file size for the game massive, but it's not like anyone really cares about that too much these days. So these are probably a majority of all the videos that have been in the corner that have been popping up. The ones that I said I would link to, and I totally never did because I'm lazy like that, and I'm not as dedicated to my craft as Vinty and Excelia. But yeah, there we go. Great, now I just need to go trash everybody who's competing with me in my field, and then I will become the best. That's the lesson I've taken from this. Yep. I should totally just go trash the Yogscast somehow, and PewDiePie. Yeah. As that says, Without Within 2, I'm feeling good about wrapping up all of my Narrative Month stuff. There wasn't as much left of them as I thought I had left of them, so there we go. And people, at least some people did want to see them, so I kind of didn't want to leave people hanging. So anybody who wanted to see the end of Without Within 2, yay! I'm sorry I ruined it with LeChuck voices and clappers. But that's just how I roll. It might be a while before I do another visual novel, I don't know. It's one of those things I indulge in once in a blue moon. With that said, also watch this space on VA11 Hall A, which is supposed to be out in 2016 at some point, so that will probably be the next visual novel I delve into. That will almost definitely be the next one, unless I find something before that. Or that game gets delayed to 2017, and I need to do Narrative Month next December. Either way, thank you for bearing with me, thank you for watching, thank you for enjoying this if you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and all that jazz. You know, promote my work so that I might be as big as Excelia one day. And yeah, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time!